Ladies and gentlemen, we finally got the news we have all been waiting for. Somali welfare queen Ilhan Omar's time in the United States is officially coming to an end, and it can't happen quick enough. Donald Trump dropped a Thanksgiving Truth Social post revealing that his Somali fatigue has officially boiled over, and he is going further than just deporting Somalis illegally present in Minnesota. He is beginning the denaturalization process for Somali U.S. citizens that are enemies of the country. And he specified by name that the first person on his chopping block is none other than Ilhan Omar. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys watch this one till the end. But let's start with Ilhan Omar at a Somali conference in Minnesota calling the president of Somalia her president.
caawa aan fursad u helay madaxweynaha Soomaaliya madaxweyne Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud inaan maanta ku soo dhaweyno Minneapolis aniga iyo madaxweynaha special relationship aan qabnaa aniga adeeraan ugu wacaa asigana gabarteeyo idhahaa madaxweyne sidii qof kasta uu yiri mininkaaga waaye ku soo dhawow Minneapolis aad iyo aad aan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta madaxweynaheena aad tahay Soomaaliya dadka meeshaan wada joogo dhan waa gurigooda anaga ma dareensannihin in ay naga tahay meel naga fog Soomaaliya wadnaheenay ku nooshahay qalbigeenay ku jirtaa maalin kasta aan ka fikirnaa Soomaaliya.
So at this point, you guys know I love to start these videos with some insane clip of Ilhan Omar, a sitting United States congressperson, declaring her allegiance to Somalia in one form or another. And I'm able to do that because there's so many. She's so open about it. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say the Somali diaspora in Minnesota sees themselves as a satellite state of Somalia. That's why she called the president of Somalia our president. That's why she said, welcome to your home in Minnesota, because they see Minnesota as some far-off province of Somalia. There has never been a country on God's green earth that has been more welcoming to immigrants than the United States. And that only works if the citizens don't feel like their kindness is being taken advantage of, and the people coming here are making a concerted effort to assimilate and integrate into the society and culture. But as we know, the Somali community is not doing that. In fact, they are forcing the residents of Minneapolis to assimilate and accept their way of life and their culture. And they're scamming the taxpayer to the tune of billions of dollars from programs that are intended to help the children of Minnesota. So they're not doing either of the things required to make immigration work. It's like leaving a candy bowl out on Halloween only works if everyone respects the take two pieces rule. But despite taking advantage of our generous and welcoming nature, Ilhan Omar still disdains the United States and laments us at every opportunity for being racist and bigoted and Islamophobic, while refusing to leave and go back to Somalia, while also proclaiming Somalia is her home and the greatest place on planet Earth. And Donald Trump has finally come to his senses and is saying Ilhan Omar needs to be denaturalized and deported. Take a look at this.
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
and I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
Please smash the like button if you guys enjoyed that. I don't know about you guys, but the denaturalization and deportation of immigrants in our government who openly disdain our country and are trying to destroy it from within is possibly the most vital action that needs to happen to save our republic. And one of the things I desperately want to see during Trump's second administration. We can no longer be shackled by the condescending and meaningless name calling from the left, silencing any legitimate concern and discussion about this problem by being called a racist or a bigot or intolerant. We are not wrong for having serious trepidation of people who are not from this country, who chose to come here electively, chose to become citizens, chose to run for elected office, and only have negative things to say about our culture, our history, our traditions, our values. And instead of just leaving and going somewhere that you feel is more accepting and inclusive, they instead want to take the country in a direction that is completely antithetical to our way of life, to our values, to our constitutional freedom and liberties, and enact the same kind of ridiculous and socially destabilizing policies that made their home countries unlivable. But let's take a look at this Thanksgiving post from Donald Trump that really hammers in the point that he is not playing around. This is just an excerpt, but you'll get the point. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congresswoman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the United States illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country. By the way, I'm going to be dropping a video either later today or tomorrow exposing Governor Tim Walz for being complicit in the billion-dollar Somali welfare fraud scam. Anyway, she does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated when her place of origin is decadent, backwards, and a crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the US system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden's illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's autopin, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign natural who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization, aka Ilhan Omar. And you know who also fits those parameters that I'd love to see go? Zohran Mamdani. I'm tired of being told to ignore reality. I'm tired of being told that common sense is racist. I'm tired of being told to ignore the stats that nearly all third world migration is a net negative to the United States in every conceivable way. I'm tired of being told immigrants who hate our country have every right to be here because of freedom of speech. I'm tired of being told we must accept the transformation of Dearborn, Michigan into a Sharia city because of inclusiveness and tolerance and freedom of religion. The Constitution only works if the people of that country revere it and respect it. And we know this to be true because all across the world, we've tried to establish governments based on the United States Constitution, but because the people don't respect it or revere it, it does not work. But Ilhan Omar's response to Trump threatening to denaturalize and deport her is about exactly what you'd expect from Ilhan Omar. Watch.
I mean, I have no worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like, I can go live wherever I want.
This is the problem with handing out American citizenship like candy on Halloween. We can have immigrants in our country who feel this way, who are merely here to work and contribute, but we cannot be giving citizenship to people who have 1 foot out the door and 1 foot in the door, who aren't fully bought in and committed to being American, who only care about benefiting themselves, not benefiting the country, not benefiting their neighbors, not benefiting their community. And we especially can't have these people serving in government. I have nowhere to go if America goes to hell. I have no other country to run to. I am a Midwest cornfield-raised American. This is my home, this is my country, and I want to see it thrive for the next 250 years. American exceptionalism is self-evident. We were founded in 1776, and by 1946, 170 years later, we were the greatest superpower on planet Earth. No other country in the history of mankind has ever achieved such a feat. We single-handedly modernized and civilized the entire world, lifting it out of poverty. And we are destroying ourselves by importing millions of people from places who haven't figured out how to evolve past being cavemen. Why are we importing people from places that marry children? Why are we importing people from places that have sex with animals? We have enough of our own weirdos and creeps and criminals in America. We don't need to import millions more in the name of some feel-good, radically progressive social justice initiative. And if you want to know why Ilhan Omar doesn't really care if she gets deported, it's because she's enriched herself to the tune of $30 million by being the ringleader for these Somali welfare scams in Minnesota. Watch.
horta aad iyo aadaan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta safari aan soo gaarnay safari in ay tahay meelaha sayti oo diyaarinayo cunto maalin kasto maalintii kaliyo safari waxay ay cunto siisaa 2300 oo ciyaal ah iyo familkooda taas waa mid muhiim ah sida aad u ogtihiin dhalinyaro badan gaajo ku nool wadankaneyti ama familkooda fursad u helin in quraac qada iyo casho ay siiso
So that was Ilhan Omar endorsing a man who was caught and arrested for his participation in the $350 million fraud scheme where the Somali community in Minneapolis stole money intended for hungry children. Because the liberal anti-American, anti-Western civilization ideology demands that we pay reparations to the entire global South as an apology for us being too great and too rich. Does anybody who prides themselves on being a rational thinker really think that Ilhan Omar had no idea that this man was engaging in widespread fraud? Of course she did, but that was the entire goal. Defraud the Minnesota taxpayer and the federal taxpayer, send as much money back to Somalia, so when the scam finally got exposed, people finally lost their patience and demanded that all of you guys be sent back to Somalia. At least you were able to siphon off billions of American dollars before that happened. Again, what other explanation could there be coming from someone like Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but call our country racist and hateful and bigoted? If I lived in another country and my experience was these people hate me, I would just leave as fast as I could. But Ilhan Omar thought she could run this scam in perpetuity on the back of white liberal guilt. And Ilhan Omar calls Americans stupid for electing somebody who actually puts America first. Take a look.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
So hardworking Americans who are barely getting by, who are being forced to scrimp and be frugal and struggle, are stupid for finally opening their eyes and realizing that the lazy and the unproductive, and the immigrants who don't even speak their language or share their culture are all living better than they are on the backs of their hard-earned tax money. Hard-working Americans who strive to be self-sufficient, who pride themselves in being contributors to their community and their country, are being punished. They can barely afford to have kids, but Somali immigrants come here, elect not to work, receive welfare, otherwise they'll be homeless. Then they pump out multiple kids to increase the amount of welfare they receive, and then if that's not enough, they systematically scam and steal every single welfare program that's designed to help the people of Minnesota at large. And Ilhan Omar calls us idiots for refusing to eat shit no longer. Well, I hope Ilhan keeps that same energy of I don't care if I get deported and call her uncle the president of Somalia, because her time in America is coming to an end and it can't happen fast enough. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this rant. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.